Hi all. I thought this would be the best way to show you how to insert your contacts into the database. Originally I was going to do this kind of individually on a one-to-one type thing, but I think this will be a lot more efficient. And once you go through this, if you have any questions or encounter any problems, then you can give me a call and I'll be more than happy to walk you through it. Uh, we're using a CRM tool, and CRM, for those of you that are kind of new to this, is short for Client Resource Management. And really all it is just a database that has been specifically designed, and the fields of the database have been designed primarily for marketing and sales. But it has applications in a lot of different areas, and I think this will work actually pretty well for us. The reason that we went with this particular database, several reasons. First of which, it is web-based, meaning that to access it, all you really need to have is Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox or Internet Explorer, whatever your browser of choice would happen to be. It's also available if you're using a tablet, and it works very well for that. And it also will give you the option of inputting your contacts and everything into the database without having to go through someone else. So, and the good part is it's free. So we didn't have to pay for anything, and it's actually residing on one of my servers, so I have total control over it and can make sure that it's getting backed up. And for our activities here at the end of June, and some of the things coming up, I think it's going to be a great tool, because one thing that it will allow us to do is, once we have inserted a lot of the data that we're going to be required, we will have the option of printing out lists. And these lists can be used for everything from mailing labels to email blasts. So it's just a great way of accumulating data and having a tool that we can use for collaboration in the times that we are not meeting. A couple days ago, or I guess yesterday, I would have sent out emails to you that would indicate and instructions on how to access Sugar, which is the name of the CRM. And if you did not receive those, let me know. If you didn't receive them, one of the first things I would do is look in your junk folder or your spam folder, just to make sure that it didn't get snagged. So anyway, what I thought I would do is just kind of show you the basics for getting into the database, and then inserting your contacts, and then just kind of briefly showing you some of the capabilities of Sugar, so that you can use it for whatever purpose you see fit. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. As I said, you would have received an email, and in that email it would have given you the username that I assigned to you, and in this particular case it's just your first initial and your last name. And then it would have also provided you with a temporary password, and that password can be changed on your first logon. So then you can change it to whatever you want, and you can be relatively assured that it's secure. So I'm just going to use the administrative password and log on username and password here. So the first screen that you see will be this one right here, and it really is just kind of the portal for the site. And when you have data that's been inserted on your logon, it will just give you kind of an executive summary of the things that you've done. The neat thing about Sugar is that it has a lot of tools in there that over a period of time that we will be able to make use of. One of which is it has actually some a pretty decent calendar, and this calendar can also be used to schedule meetings. and it'll send out email notifications, much like Outlook with Business Contact Manager would do if you're using that. There's also some other email clients that will do that as well, but this is a way that we can use this just for us. So we can use this actually as a master calendar, and then everyone will have access to it. Everyone will have the opportunity of posting into the calendar. So just to kind of give you an idea of this is something we may want to do in the future. So anyway, if you go to one of the tabs, sales, marketing, support, activities, collaboration, you'll notice that the menus for each one of these tabs will change, or the submenu, which is the area right beneath it. And if, just say for instance, you go to sales and contacts, that is actually the same area of the database as marketing and contacts. So in other words, when it says contacts, that is basically what you're going to see, and it's going to be consistent from no matter what tab up here you have selected. So for the sake of this presentation, we're just simply going to focus on contacts. So when you click on contacts, and I just put mine in there just kind of so that there's something in there, all of your contacts will be listed right here. And one of the things that we will be able to do is the account name right here is we can actually use the account name as kind of an activity list. So for the gathering that we're having the end of June, we could make that an account, and then anybody that's a contact under that account will appear, and then you can actually search it by all contacts that are a part of that account. But we won't worry about that right now, but just let you know that there are ways of kind of segregating and filtering the database searches based on certain criteria, so you're not managing this ungodly database. So if you want to look at just the names that are part of the contacts that we're going to send invitations out to for this event, then you can filter the search and export that list just from that particular search criteria. So when you come in here, as I said, the first thing you're going to see is the portal page, and we can actually put news and announcements and things like that in here. But for the case for the near future, the first thing that you'll need to do is just go to contacts. You'll want to create a new contact. You can also import it from a vCard. If somebody's emailed you their contact in a vCard form, you can view all the contacts, and you can import contacts from a spreadsheet as well. But in this case, I'm just working on the assumption that you're going to access this and type in your contact information. So you click on Create Contact, and then it basically gives you a number of fields that you can populate. None of them are required other than the last name, because if there's nothing in there, then it becomes null and there's really no information to store. So let's just do and let's give him a title of President. Not really a department, but under account name, let's just say that it's part of Catch. Then you can put in, a phone number, and then their address. And you'll definitely want to make sure that you include an email address. If any of this is left blank, that's fine, but we really need the email address, so you want to make sure that that's in there. And one of the things that we can do is once we start sending out newsletters or invitations, we can include this as an opted out, meaning that he doesn't want to receive anything. So, and then you can put like, for instance, if this is a lead that or a contact that needs to report to somebody, we can input that in there. Well, it looks like it's not going to do that. It's going to point it to me. That's fine. So anyway, once we save that now, we click on Save, you'll notice that now under Contacts, when we click on Contacts up here, we have a Mr. Bob Smith. So now the neat thing about this is that once we click on Mr. Bob Smith, we're going to be able to track everything that every correspondence, every email, every conversation that we have with Mr. Bob Smith. So if Rick goes in and has a meeting with Bob Smith and he comes back with meeting notes, then Michelle can go in and look at those meeting notes, and if she contacts Mr. Bob Smith, she's going to know basically what conversation took place between Rick and Bob Smith. Now, to actually do this, you'll notice as you scroll down, there are additional tabs, and these are database tabs that you can actually put information into. So if there's a certain activity that Mr. Bob Smith is going to be involved with, you can create a task. This is the one, the history part is probably the one that you're going to be most interested in, but we'll come back to that in just a moment. Documents, if Bob Smith sends you PDFs or Microsoft Word documents or spreadsheets, you can actually accumulate all of those under his name, and just simply by going into this field, opportunities, leads, campaigns, those are things that we'll come back and talk about at a later date, because they will have uses, I think, as we get deeper into this. But let's go, for instance, just up here to history. And as you accumulate these contacts and as we start to share them, we're going to want to track every correspondence, every contact that we have with Mr. Bob Smith. So one of the things that will allow you to do is to incorporate these meeting notes. And you can actually cut and paste from Microsoft Word or Notepad or whatever you want, or you can just type into it. But let's say that we met with Mr. Bob Smith at Starbucks. Now, the only thing that I don't really like about this is it doesn't give you a date field. So you may, if the date is important, you want to make sure that you put it in your notes. So then you want to make sure that you save it. And now we actually have, under history, we have that whoever it was, it would be, whoever met with Bob Smith. It was just me because I actually am logged on that. But as when you log on, you'll see that. And so you'll see that you met at the administrator, which is me in this particular case, met at Bob Smith, and you can click on it and call up the meeting notes. And so every time that you actually do a new one, let me get back to the original. So if now Michelle met with Bob Smith and she's logged on as Michelle, when she creates a new note or attachment, her assigned user will be there. But let's say, for instance, Michelle had lunch. We can actually put her name in here. And so now when we save it, it will have another activity here that Michelle, who was the assigned user here, met with Mr. Bob Smith. So at this point, I think this is probably most of what we're going to want to use this for. As we send out invitations and we get RSVPs in, and things such as that, this will be a great way to track that. And there's other fields here that actually may be better suited, but you can certainly use whichever one you feel most comfortable with. We just want to make sure that we're consistent. And so I think for this point, from this point on, we are going to just use the history tab, and that way we can track all the information from that contact that's pertinent to our activities here. So just to let you know that if you run into any problems, you can certainly call me and I will walk you through it. It's relatively simple. I wouldn't get too concerned about screwing things up because things can always be fixed. The database will be backed up probably every 2 or 3 days in the event something happens. Then once you are completed, you can just simply X out or just log out, and then you're pretty much all done. So hope this was simple enough, and if you do have any questions or any problems, you can certainly give me a call, and we'll do the best we can to get you taken care of.